worship to God, that is prostration to Allah. So they understand that this word means only this thing. So there the confusion begins and questions begin to agitate one's mind. Why previously Adam was permitted to receive worship from his own fellow beings or angels as well? But one thing they forget, the true significance of this sajda is in the same verse mentioned slightly earlier. Allah Ta'ala says, فَإِذَا سَوَّيْتُهُ وَنَفَخْتُ فِيهِ مِنْ رُوحِي فَقَعُوا لَهُ سَاجِدِينَ. It says that man by himself is not worthy of submission in any sense. No man has a right to subjugate anybody else to himself. So, Savvatuhu means even if I have perfected the creation of man, you don't have to submit to him. وَنَفَخْتُ فِيهِ مِنْ رُوحِي. Yes, when I have spoken to him and given him revelation, then you must bow to him. Because then you will prostrate to me and not to him. You see, that part of the verse, وَنَفَخْتُ فِيهِ مِنْ رُوحِي, that is omitted by most of the scholars, and the key of this verse lies therein. They bow to the nafkh ruh, that is the revelation of God, not to the man.
I understand.
The third question, please.
The third question, sir, is about the children education. We read that the Holy Prophet Muhammad Sallam that we should start teaching our children right from the age of 7 years. But I've seen many parents who will sometimes beat up their children for not saying
before the age of 10. Before the age of 10, it is forbidden to beat children. You are only permitted to beat them, and that also not rashly and not cruelly, not with your passionate involvement in it, but just by way of rectifying their ways with moderation. Only between the age of 10 and 12. Neither before nor after that. This is the injunction of the Hazrat Rasul Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and it should be followed strictly.
Does this...
is that the fourth question?
And that's the third question.
Or a part of the third?
Yes.
All right, please.
Does it, teaching them right from the 7 years old, does it apply to only religion?
Persuasion, teaching, educating them, and so on and so forth. Prayer should be taught to them, and they should be taught to actually exercise this knowledge and convert it into prayer. I mean, real prayer. Not only not only must you teach them theoretically, but give them the practical knowledge as well. That is what it means. Start doing it at the age of 7, not before.
To give them any education before age of 7 is forbidden, sir?
It's not forbidden to give education, but to make them pray, to translate education into practice, that is not said, nor it is forbidden anywhere. But what Hazrat Rasul Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam expects from us has been made manifestly clear. So I have no doubt left that had he ever wanted us to make our children start praying before the age of 7, he could have said it in so many words. So by starting it from 7, there must be some significance. That is not the proper age. Perhaps they will get a reaction against it rather than begin to love the prayer. So whatever the reason be, we must stick to his orders. He has told us that we should start teaching how to say prayer and make them pray, make our children pray from the age of 7 onwards. And up to 10, you are not permitted to beat them. Only through persuasion and love you must persuade them, must convince them that this is a good way, and if you are doing it intelligently and reward them with something, with smiles or with just a pat on the back after they have said prayer, you can induce some love for the prayer into your children and in this age. That's a very impressionable age, and through persuasion and love and smiles and this and that, you can really instill a love of prayer in the hearts of your children. But if after a labor and a labor which you stick to with perseverance of 3 long years, the children still do not pick up the habit of saying prayer, then Hazur Akram Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam permits us to use beating as well between the age of 10 and 12. Clear?
Yes.
After that, they are free. They are responsible for their actions. You are not permitted to beat them after the age of 12, because generally they come into their own at this age, and they have reached, not in all cases, but generally they have reached puberty or majority. So, if somebody you find there in your country is violating these instructions, you tell him that he has no right to do that.
Sir, can we beat them for any stubbornness other than religious affairs?
Oh, must you beat them? Please. I mean, why can't you do it through persuasion and love? This beating, the tendency to beat, is in the first place a wrong tendency. And this is the requirement is mentioned only by Hazur Akram Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam because he has to address every type of people. But he himself never beat his children, did he?
No, sir.
Hazrat Masih Maud Alayhi Salatu Wasalam never beat his children, did he? So that means it's not a necessity, it's not the best thing to do. It is only a compulsion in our extreme cases. So the beating of wives is sometimes permitted as according to the Holy Quran, but you will never hear Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam raising a finger against his wife, or Hazrat Masih Maud Alayhi Salatu Wasalam doing it, or his khulafa. So why do you run to beating? I mean, take to the easiest course as you think, but this is not profitable. Hazrat Masih Maud Alayhi Salatu Wasalam was so much against beating of children that once when he was told that somebody beat his children, he was extremely angry. He was so angry that he said, this is idolatry. You think you can shape their future and you can teach them by force what you want to enforce into them or to them? I mean, you can't, you're not God, you're not Almighty. Even if you beat them, they may go wrong and they may turn against you and still not follow you. So Hazrat Masih Maud Alayhi Salatu Wasalam expressed his anger and mentioned this, that such people are generally maghlubul ghazab, that is, they're slaves themselves of their inner passions, the slaves of their violence, and they do it to please themselves, not to rectify things. They please to revenge against an insult to their own personal ego, not really to promote goodness. So he analyzed all these features, and once you read through that, you will be horrified at the very thought of beating people and rectifying them by that. Reformation is done through Rahmah. This is why Hazrat Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is mentioned as Rahmatul Lil Alameen, not as a beater of Alameen, not as a thresher of Alameen. All that he was charged with, all that he was armed with was Rahmah, and that was quite enough. but because there are people belonging to lower orders and who are made cruder,